Welcome back. Finally, it's time to talk about the oinks, the pig. Undoubtedly the star of 2022 with a slew of positive stars. What's happening for 2023 though? Usually, I try to use even the negative stars to create growth for us, but in this particular instance, for the pig, I will tell you upfront that this time, perhaps uncharacteristically, I will be taking a more conservative approach, and the keywords for the pig in 2023 are staying low-key, private, and humble. Well, as conservative as I possibly can be. Anyway, before I get any further, welcome back as we continue with the 2023 Chinese Zodiac series. In case we have yet to meet, thank you for watching. My name is Pauline Cheng, and I am a Bazi and Feng Shui practitioner. And the hill I have chosen to die on is career and business. But as always, I endeavor to use Chinese metaphysics to empower, not to disempower. Okay, let's get into the pig. Okay, the pig literally had all the money stars in 2022. In fact, last year, my pig video was titled How to Fat Tak, okay? But along with those positive stars came a very clear warning against arrogance. The negative stars, which I have highlighted in all caps, were a caution that pride comes before a fall. Because in 2023, the pig literally went from hero to almost zero. But hold on, don't panic yet. There's a way to circumvent. Let me first explain their effects. Now, if we had taken advantage of these positive stars in 2022, the success we enjoyed may have generated jealousy and envy. This is what back poking is trying to say. As its name suggests, somebody is poking your back, poke, 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 poke. There may be incidences of slander, defamation, gossip, those kind of unpleasant stuff. Now, most of the time, we can ignore them. However, there are triggers. Okay, so certain allegations may need to be addressed. Okay, the white tiger is it is one of many things, but it also indicates the presence of petty people. Okay, this can be a bit more serious when paired with the goat blade and the sky warrior. Okay, think of them as our trigger buttons. These are our trigger buttons. Okay, see, people with the pig in their in our Bazi charts, in certain aspects of our lives, can be quite easygoing, trusting, perhaps even a little naive. Okay, this is because the energy in this particular branch is a smooth production cycle. So the pig branch can be a bit laid back, chill. Okay, but it doesn't mean that we're not without our triggers. Therefore, okay, using the white tiger, goat blade, and sky warrior requires a balancing act. Triggered in a positive way, the presence of these stars can galvanize us into action, resulting in growth. They can amp up our execution skills. Okay? However, the trigger works both ways. The negative effects of the white tiger, sky warrior, and goat blade happens when the trigger buttons results in blind anger, irritability, rash behavior, offensive retorts, rude replies, tone-deaf remarks. Okay? Classic example, road rage, which is why the white tiger is also associated with the possibility of accidents, because anger clouds our minds, and we behave in a way that maybe we would not otherwise when we are in a more rational mind frame, right? Therefore, please, first, let's identify our trigger buttons and be mindful of any rash behavior. Even the most laid-back pig have been known to fight back when cornered. Fighting spirit is good when we use it in the right manner. Okay? Otherwise, easily triggered equals easily manipulated. And with our adverse reaction to all these provocations, now comes the Earth Shah, which puts obstacles in our way, especially on the work front. Now, these can be hard to define problems. Lack of cooperation, passive-aggressive resistance, power plays. Now, when these four come together, in today's hyper-connected social media world, this can spell the presence of cancel culture, trolls, virtue signaling, keyboard warriors, those kind of stuff. I'll talk more on that later. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? Huh? We could use our heavenly chef to, yes, build relationships, turn our enemies into our friends. Network. Again, presence of heavenly chef indicates good food and drinks. With this around, be inclusive. Don't alienate or isolate or be cliquish. We need to be the gracious one. Use this opportunity to have a meal with someone. Maybe try to turn our detractors into our fans. Or, at the very least, right, it tells us that regardless of what's going on here, there will always be good food to be had. So, pass the popcorn. Okay, so by the way, guys, if you've enjoyed this sharing so far and found it valuable, do give me a like and subscribe, okay? So, now, how are we going to use these stars for your career growth? Now, for career professionals, I know that theoretically, our personal social media profiles should be our own, but really freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences. And you and I both know, cancel culture can cost jobs and livelihoods. So please think before you post, okay? In our hyper-connected world, many people have forgotten how to agree to disagree, especially when mob mentality takes over. Second lot, headed by the white tiger, choose your hill to die on. Pick your battles. Decide what is worth fighting for, what is not, all right? And finally, with the single positive star, focus our attention on building great relationships, or else go the safe route. And for 2023, all you post are food photos. Okay, so what about business owners, right? Now, for business owners, on the other hand, things can be a bit more interesting, okay? With cancel culture, people have become more sensitive to the words and actions of businesses and their executives. So with the presence of the backpoking, you really need to walk the talk and deliver on what you promise. Be careful of overusing or overplaying virtue signaling in your content marketing. But with the presence of the white tiger, the sky warrior and the goat blade, also comes a hidden opportunity to create purpose-driven branding. Now, this type of marketing, this purpose-driven marketing acknowledges that there is no way to make everyone happy. Right? Therefore, your brand must stand up for what you believe in. It's a little polarizing, okay? At the same time, you need to ensure that your management team must be ready to address the legitimate concerns raised from your backpoking. In this instance, for business owner, a bland press release written by your corporate comms is not enough. With the white tiger, the written word is not enough. You need to show up. The boss must be ready to step up, admit fault if necessary, offer redress, apologize when wrong, or doing the opposite and taking a firm stance on specific hot button issues. And finally, with the heavenly chef, forge quality partnerships. You had the Grand Duke combination in 2022. Continue to nurture those relationships and align your brand with others that have similar values. Okay, so in summary, for the pig in 2023, this will be a year where you learn to use your triggers for positive growth. Focus on your positive relationships, on removing or ignoring detractors, or using your detractors as motivation. Because come 2024, the positive stars comeback is going to be the return of the oinks, and we must be free to move and unencumbered by haters. But that's next year's story. Okay, for 2023, let's see, where's your pick? Okay, so if you have the pick in your year, which governs your industry, market, social networks, social media followers, basically other people, from your perspective, they may be hypersensitive in 2023, okay? As we head into period 9, okay, it's beginning to become very apparent, the culture war especially. So for someone with a pick in your year, chances are that you could notice a lot of triggering events outside of your control. So the career advice still holds true for this one. Think before you post, especially if you are a public figure such as an influencer or celebrity. You know, celebrities like comedians or actors and singers will be certainly more vulnerable to these because they rely on the goodwill of the public. Now, while there's nothing we can do about what people comment in our social media profiles, there is one thing we can do for ourselves. Don't poke the pig. Stay in your lane. Do you really need to comment on a current issue that has nothing to do with you? For 1 year, maybe? Just lay it off for a while. Is there a need to be to virtue signal all the time, right? For example. Okay, so how about pick in the month, all right? This is literally the business or career pillar. At work, be it business or career, 2023 is a year to focus on building strong relationships. I must admit, guys, the stars in the pick are a little hard to flip because they involve other people's mouths, which we can't control. What we can control is our own reaction to the provocations, how we deal with these triggers, you know. But I just thought of something. If you happen to be in the food industry, like for example, if you are an upcoming celebrity chef, these stars can help to elevate your business by taking part in cooking competitions, right? Like, well, there's Heavenly Chef, you're the chef, White Tiger, you know, you need to show up. Backpoking, well, in Iron Chef, that would be the judges. So, sorry, I've watched too much Iron Chef. Let's move on, okay? So, these stars in the day pillar, which governs your personal relationships and your romantic relationship in particular, points to a classic pat po or pat gong problem. Other people meddling or interfering with your relationship. You listen to your friend's opinion about how your relationship should be or how your life should be, and then the bickering starts. So again, this calls for awareness. The realization that you and your significant other are the only ones in your relationship, right? So, and your relationship is unique to both of you. The presence of the white tiger need not signify fights. It can actually indicate a willingness to be more vulnerable and sensitive with each other's needs, about not pushing buttons unnecessarily, and most importantly, about showing up for each other in your relationship. Now, the hour pillar governs our children, staff, legacy, investments, ideas, ideals, can also represent our thoughts, our thinking patterns. The pick is in your hour. Do watch out for any signs of a suspicious mindset or a victim mindset. Here in the hour pillar for 2023, the negative stars can inculcate a me against the world type of mentality. Now, if you happen to have more positive stars or more action-driven stars in your external pillar, these other ones, example, maybe the rat or the rabbit, or maybe even the horse, this mindset here could stop you from taking advantage of the others. Okay? So, now, one extra slide, just for the oink, because really need help this year. Okay? We can borrow other people's chart to do this. So, if it is opportunities you need, the tiger has plenty to spare. Okay? Need access to decision makers. Hello, the goat. This is your go-to. Right? Need some authority and recognition, go check with the rabbit. Okay? This is how we borrow someone else's chart. Okay? Now, in case these suggestions sound very broad to you, they have to be. I've not seen your full chart, nor do I know your personal circumstances. Therefore, these suggestions have to be broad, and in application, critical thinking on your part is required. In creating the 2023 series, my intent is really to give you some inspiration on how to use these positive or even negative stars. Remember, the stars influence us. They don't control us. Also, there are possibilities, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so this is what they represent. Match our effects, match our actions to the effects of the stars. We get to reap the benefits or experience the negative side. So at the end of the day, that's what a Bazi reading is all about, to help you match your actions to the year's energy. So here's my offer to you, if you'd like. Let's brainstorm the year together. Got a question? Drop it in the comment. With that, I want to say thank you for watching, and here's wishing you, yes, you with the big, okay, in spite of all the triggering stars, I hope to trigger 恭喜發財, Happy New Year. May 2023 be a year where you defy the odds and emerge triumphant. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.